Boys and girls, these are the questions and answers for 1.3 in the Decimal Apps book, Investigation 1. So the first question, it says, use the chart above to find the unit rate for the speed at which the outdoor club hikers traveled for each day of the hiking trip. So here we have the chart here, day 1, day 2, day 3, how many miles they traveled, and the hours it took them. So the first thing I want to fill out is the miles per hour. So to do that, if we just write that as a ratio here, as a fraction, I'm going to write it as miles per hour. So to find out my miles per hour, I'm just going to go ahead and take exactly what I'm asking for here. So I'm asking for the miles up top, so the miles I traveled was 9, and the hours I traveled is 4. The hours it took me, is 4. So a fraction is a division problem that hasn't been done yet. So if I do 9 divided by 4, I'm going to get 2.25. So my miles per rate here in miles per hour is 2.25. All right, so again, just the way I'm asking for the question, miles per hour. All right, so for the next one, sticking with the miles per hour, day 2, the miles were 12. The hours were 5. So 12 divided by 5 gives us 2.4. So on the second day, they traveled at a rate of 2.4 miles per hour. And the third day, again, we're going to stick with the same miles on top and the hours on the bottom. And that gives us 2.56. is our rate. So 2.56. All right. Now, we essentially just found the unit rate in terms of miles per hour, but we can also find a unit rate in terms of hours per mile, which is just the exact opposite. So for this one, to find the miles per hour, I put miles on top, per hour on the bottom. To find the hours per mile, I'm just going to flip that around. So hours per mile. So let's fill in what we know. So on the first day, the hours were 4 and the miles were 9. If I divide that, I'm going to get 0.4 repeating. On the next day, my hours were 5 and the miles were 12. So 5 divided by 12 gave us 0.416. So we'll fill in our chart here, and the 6, is repeating. And on the last day, the hours were 2.5, and the miles were 6.4. All right, so hours, miles, we divide, and we're going to get, let's round it to 0.391. So essentially what this means right here in terms of hours per mile is it took us a little bit less than a half hour. I apologize, this should be for repeating. So it took us a little bit less than a half hour to walk 1 mile. All right, so if I wanted to, some people in class today, they realized that this 0.4 repeating was pretty close to 2/5. So it took them 2/5 of an hour. So in other words, 2/5 of 60 minutes to walk 1 mile, and 2/5 of 60 is 24. Right, so I took my fraction of means to multiply and then the number of minutes. So if I wanted to get a more exact answer, I could just go ahead and say 0.4, so let's say 0.44 times 60, and that would give me 26.4. So the more 4s I added, the more accurate my answer would get, but it's still going to be around 26 and change. All right, moving on to the next question. Before the trip, the hikers made some trail mix. A recipe calls for a ratio of 3 cups of raisins to 4 cups of peanuts. So what is a ratio of raisins to peanuts as a unit rate? So the question is asked right there. It's asked for raisins to peanuts. So I'm going to put it right in that order. The ratio of raisins is 3 cups to peanuts is 4 cups. So there's our fraction, and you should all know that 3/4 as a decimal is 75 hundredths. All right, so to extend this a little bit, I could say, well, if I know that if I have 3 cups of raisins, I'm going to have 4 cups of peanuts. So I'm going to put the raisins up top, the peanuts down below. So let's just say that I only had 2 cups of peanuts. So essentially I'm taking the amount of peanuts I have and cutting them in half. So I have to do the same thing with the raisins. So half of 3 is 1.5. Let's say I break this down even further and say, well, let's just say I have 1 cup of peanuts. So again, I'm taking this number and I'm cutting it in half. So I would take this number and cut in half, and it gives me this. So what we're saying here is for every 1 cup of peanuts, we're going to have 3/4 of a cup of raisins. And we can use this right here to answer our next question. So it says, how many cups of raisins should the hikers have used if they have 2 cups of peanuts? So 2 cups we already determined right here, that if I have 2 cups of peanuts, so 2 cups of peanuts will require us to have 1.5 cups of raisins. All right. Now what if I have 3 cups of peanuts? Well, I know that for every 1 cup of peanuts I have, I need 3/4 of a cup of raisins. So I could just multiply here. So if I'm asking for 3 cups of peanuts, 3 times 0.75 would give us the answer, and that's going to give us 2.25. So I need 2.25 cups of raisins. All right, so there's the answer for 2. There's the answer for 3. And let's just say I had 5 cups of peanuts. So again, 5 cups of peanuts. How many cups of raisins would I need? So again, if I know that I have for every 1 cup of peanuts, I need 3/4 of a cup of raisins. So I'm just going to go ahead and say 5 times 0.75 to get my answer for raisins, and that's going to be 3.75. So I need 3.75 cups of raisins if I have 5 cups of peanuts. So there's our 3 answers for that question. All right, last question. So we have our ice cream. So we know that we get the chocolate chip ice cream comes in 2 quarts for $5. The cherry vanilla ice cream comes 1 3/4 quarts for $4. So the first question says, for each of the 2 ice cream packages, what is the price per quart? So, the price per quart, going back to what I said kind of in the first question, the way this is asked of me, it's asked price per quart. So in other words, dollars per quart. So let's just fill this in. For the chocolate chip one, I know it's $5 over 2 quarts. So if that's the case, then the price is going to be $2.50. All right, and then for sticking with the same ratio here of price or dollars per quart, for the cherry vanilla, it's going to be 1.75 over 4, which is going to give us $2.29 per quart. All right, so based on dollars per quart, the chocolate chip was $2.50 and the cherry vanilla was $2.29. So now it wants us to answer the question based on the number of quarts per dollar. So what I'm going to do is just erase this. So I want to figure out quarts per dollar, so that's going to be quarts per dollar. So I'm just going to flip everything. So for the chocolate chip ice cream, it's going to be 2 quarts over $5, which gives us 0.4. So that means I get 0.4 or 4/10 of a quart for every dollar I spend. And for the cherry vanilla, it's going to, again, quarts over dollars. It's going to be 1.75 over $4 is the price. And when I do that, it's going to be about 0.44, I believe we said in class. I think it's 0.437 or something like that. But so we're getting 44 hundredths of a quart for every dollar. So in terms of quarts per dollar, the chocolate chip is 0.4. Sorry, and the cherry vanilla is 0.44. Okay, so we need these two pieces of information here. To answer the next question. It says use each kind of unit rate from question 1, that's up here, to compare the values of the 2 packages. So the first one we did was here, and we were finding the unit rate in terms of the price. So we determined that in terms of the money we're paying per quart, the cherry vanilla has the better price. All right, so the cherry vanilla is the better price because you're paying less per quart. So the cherry vanilla, we're paying less, so it's less money per quart. All right, so that's our better deal. If we look at these in terms of the quarts per dollars we're spending, unlike over here where the smaller amount is better because we're paying less per quart, over here the bigger amount is better. So in this case, this proves that the cherry vanilla is a better deal because in this case I'm getting more quarts per dollar. All right, it's not much more, but I'm getting a little bit more of a quart per dollar. So the cherry vanilla is a better deal also because you're getting more of a quart per dollar. Okay, last one. It says each ice cream flavor offers an 8-quart package with the same unit price as the smaller container. For each flavor, what does the larger package cost? So going back up here, the unit price for each container, the chocolate chip, the unit price was $2.50 per quart, and the cherry vanilla was $2.29 per quart. So if this is the price for 1 quart of chocolate chip, the price for 8 quarts would be this times 8, which gives me $20. All right, and again, if this is the price for the cherry vanilla for 1 quart, to find the price for the 8-quart version of it, I'm just going to do times 8, and that's going to give us $18.29, I think it was. Yeah, $18.29. And that's that. That's, nope, I'm sorry. I lied. It's not $18.29. It's $18.32. Sorry about that. So $18.32 is the price of the 8-quart version of the chocolate cherry vanilla. All right, that's 1.3.